0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Let's see if I remember how to do this. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the long-awaited edition of the Phixated Podcast. I am your host, Mike Azzy, and I'm joined by a guy who I am sure would love a good trip to Vegas. Regzy Boo, I miss you, man.
I miss you too, buddy. It's always like we've talked about. It's always the best that we get to meet up like every week and talk. So it feels like, you know, something's missing after when we don't talk for a while. And this is also, I feel like I'm allowing us a little bit of grace. This is like the lull before baseball starts, and we literally talk every single day. Like we in some form or fashion, we will communicate every single day for the next, you know, until November.
There's also grace, and I asked Regz for this like a month ago, and when I said, hey, as I'm getting into this new gig, I'm gonna need a little bit of like a slow roll in the transition of like, it is an early morning for me. Like I'm at school at like 6:15, so I'm just trying to navigate what the best night to do it is, and you know, get good rest and not be totally exhausted for, you know, a Friday or whatever it is. So he's been awesome about it. He texted me last week on Friday night, I believe, and said, want to record tonight. And I was like, actually, buddy, I'm in Vegas.
And I got very jealous. So the answer to your original question is, God, yes, I would take a long weekend in Vegas, as would my wife, who loves Las Vegas.
So you guys have been there before?
Oh yeah, I think
this was our first trip.
Before I went on Josh's bachelor party.
Okay.
I think we'd been there twice at least. She's been there more times than I have. I think I've been there twice before.
Okay. Yeah. I have only. This is my first time. First time ever in Vegas. Andrea's first time ever in Vegas.
You weren't at Josh's thing?
Josh was Austin.
Who were we in Vegas for? Stein was Vegas.
Yeah, I didn't get to Stein's.
That's right.
Yeah, I couldn't get to Stein's, unfortunately. I forget why. I forget what
I don't remember either.
I think it was the year I took over my building.
Maybe.
It was my first year at the building, and I couldn't like pull away for an entire 4 days, because you guys were gone for like 4 days.
Yeah, it was like Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah, and it wasn't really worth it for me to fly for like, you know, because I'll tell you what, and I looking back on it now and doing it this time, it would have been terrible, because we left at like 6 p.m. Friday night here. We didn't get settled at the hotel till 1:30 local time, so technically 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
back here. So like, we just kind of ran on fumes for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And Vegas is a place where you technically do just run on fumes, because it's all it is. But I didn't think I would love it. I didn't think I would enjoy myself, because there's so many people, and I don't do well with that many people.
Yeah.
But I had a blast. I had so much fun in Vegas, just like even walking through those casinos and seeing like the extravagance of those places.
Yeah.
And how they're built to match the theme of the name and everything like that. And, you know, we went to see the guy who The Mentalist was based off of the one night. That was so cool, because I mean, that stuff's freaky as all get out. And then we went to the Sphere. We saw the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
I mean, do you feel like you now need to characterize your life as like before Backstreet Boys at the Sphere and after Backstreet Boys at the Sphere? Like, was this a life-changing moment that you now have to like differentiate?
Yes. So I've actually seen the Backstreet Boys. This is time number 5 that I've seen them. But I actually think that this was a very religious experience for me, Rex. Like this was one of the greatest concert experiences of my life. And from this point on, there will be two buckets: concerts and then the Sphere.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair. It's not a fair comparison
Yeah.
to what you actually experience there versus like a regular, and it's, it's not fair to other concerts to like even. So
Right.
I don't even know how to actually explain what that place is like. I've told a bunch of people it's like you're living in like a Disney ride
Mm-hmm.
with a soundtrack attached to it. There were so many times I wasn't even paying attention to them on stage, and I was just watching what was happening on the screen.
I mean, it was
Seats
almost like
vibrate
probably
to the beat.
it was
and
probably
everything.
like the closest you have ever been to like going to a cult party. All in white, right?
Probably.
Stuff everywhere. Like it's like
Yeah.
everybody took the punch
Yeah.
at the same time.
Oh man, what a time. And then you're like walking around all in white and people are like excited, they're high-fiving, like it, man, just a massive party for like 2 hours.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I like couldn't sleep on Sunday night. And they're coming back in July, and we're actually considering going back to see it again.
There you go.
Just because the first time was like, I don't think I caught everything.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I do want to go back and do it again. But secondly, just for the Vegas experience, to go on like a Thursday in the summer, I don't have the same types of responsibilities at that point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like go on a Thursday and like take the red eye home on Sunday and just not work Monday. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yes, the first few times going to Vegas, it is overwhelming because there's so much, but I think even at Stein's, like the best part was that you can like, luckily there are pockets where you don't have to be around a million people. Like you can find places that aren't so ridiculous. There are plenty of them, right? If you want to be around hundreds of people and just feel like you're in a mass of bodies, like you can go find that. There's plenty of places. But if you just want to like chill out and sit outside and have a beer or like whatever, luckily like they've made some places that you can do that too. Like they're, if the sports book isn't busy, like you can just sit in there and watch games, right? All day long. Or you can like find a quiet part of the casino and play some whatever. You can find an outside bar, right? That you just sit and hang out. Like it did feel like they had built in some alternatives to the everyone is around you and it's this like mass of people all the time, which I am not a fan of, as you know, and as we've discussed many times.
Stuff for you and me, essentially.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's fine. That's what we need.
That's why we need a trip together. Vegas. That's why we need to get out there. You want to go see the
Backstreet Boys?
I bet I could convince Angela. Yeah.
Great show. Telling you, your life will be forever changed.
I am positive of that.
Also, you would be experiencing it with me, which is a whole nother world.
I mean, that might be worth the ticket itself, quite honestly.
I purposely got us an aisle ticket so I could dance in the aisle.
It might be worth it just to see me wear all white, which I've never done before.
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
Not sure the big and tall store makes all white pants, but hey, we would see. We'd figure it out.
Oh man, what a time. Unbelievable. So listen, we know it's been like 2 weeks and a lot has happened over the course of that like 10 to 12 days since we last recorded. So tonight we're actually playing it's like Philly courtroom game tonight that we're going to do. I took 8 headlines that have been kind of either surfaced or under the radar conversations that you just hear in local media. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just name, well, we're going to alternate. We're going to name the headline. So when I name the first headline, Reg's job is to either defend that headline as being true or tear it apart as being ridiculous, no way, no how. And then my job will be to either say that he is correct or incorrect, and I will either add to his point or argue his point. And like I said, there are 8 of those. 4 of those are Eagles headlines. 4 of those are Phillies headlines. We didn't decide how we were doing this. So Regs, like, should we just start Eagles and then move into Phillies, or
Yes.
do you want to alternate the teams?
No, let's start with the football team and then we'll go into baseball.
Mm.
Because man, I smell it. I smell the
Okay.
grass. I smell it.
There, it's coming. We're close. We're close. All right. I will start with the headline to you.
All right.
Okay. And after the headline, if you want to expand a little bit before the person goes, go for it, just to give some more context. So here's the first one. Today, there was news leak that sounds like Landon Dickerson's returning. We saw that Cam Jurgens did some stem cell stuff and is ready to go next season. And Lane Johnson posted a post on Twitter that makes it appear as though he is going to return. So the headline is the Eagles offensive line returning 100% of its starters next year is a very good thing for this team. Now, we know how bad they were this year. They're bringing them all back. Now, maybe Tyler Steen is gone. Maybe they move on from him and bring a veteran in. I don't know. But as of this moment, we are assuming that the offensive line will be Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, and Lane Johnson. Those guys all returning, Regs, is a very good thing for the Eagles. Go.
I'm defending this. I think it's an unbelievably good thing given what has happened with Jeff Stoutland and essentially a brand new set of coaches and a new offense and all the turnover that's happened on that side of the ball. I think that having guys who have played together, who understand how to work together, who understand how to get the best out of each other. They literally led a running back to have one of the greatest seasons of all time. I honestly think if there was a bunch of turnover at the offensive line position and we were going into this season with that and all the turnover on the coaching staff, I'd predict this to be an absolute disaster of a season. I think those 5 guys banding together to get on board to what I'm not saying they are going to be stubborn. I'm not saying they have to be. I'm saying those 5 guys who have worked together for several years now and who have been a part of or been, in the sphere of one of the greatest offensive line seasons we've ever seen can only be a positive with all the other change that is happening. If we were talking about Lane Johnson being gone and Landon Dickerson being gone, let's just go with those 2, right? Because they were sort of the closest, to not being back. If you don't have those 2 guys and you're now installing a new offense, you have these guys who have trained under Stoutland now having to learn from another guy, right? A new offensive line coach, a new type of run game. So not only are they learning how to play next to different people, they're learning brand new, possibly techniques, running game, all that stuff. At the very least, we know that these 5 guys together can be one of the top 5 offensive lines in all of football. Just full stop. Whatever scheme they are in, I am confident that those 5 guys will be able to figure it out. And I think if there was big turnover in personnel with those guys, this season would be an absolute disaster from the jump. I wouldn't give it a chance to get off the ground.
All right, buddy. I agree with your argument entirely. Here's the only thing that would give me pause in this whole scenario. It's the injuries,
Yes.
right? Like that's the only thing that gives me
Sure.
pause in this whole thing. And I don't believe that it's something that's going to continue at least all the way across the board. I think Landon Dickerson could truly have long-term injuries 100%. Does Lane Johnson have one more year in him? I hope so. I think Cam Jurgens is the most likely to be okay at the end of all this. But I agree with you for the continuity purposes. I also believe that this is the year that they draft the Lane replacement to have behind Lane in case something actually goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll sign like veteran depth or some competition for Tyler Steen. You know, it wouldn't shock me if Mekhi Becton was back in some capacity. I know that, you know, Jeff Stoutland was kind of his guy, but he knows this place. He knows these players. So having the opportunity to come in and compete is very possible for him. And it, you know, then Steen becomes a depth piece, right? So I'm with you in that the continuity matters and that this is a good thing for them going into a year, especially like you mentioned, if both of those guys were out. I actually think more so if AJ's out and Lane's out, your two best offensive players are gone and you're starting from scratch without those two. So I'm with you.
Yeah. I also think
100%.
that if Lane and like Landon are out, I think AJ's like, why would I stick around here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's one more reason to be like, I don't think, you know, they're kind of turning a corner here with how this team is going to be and record wise and, you know, being a true contender. And I wouldn't begrudge him for that take. I don't think with all the turnover that's happened, I think those guys being around hopefully gives him a reason to stick around, which I desperately hope he does.
Yeah. Well, that's our first one, and you nailed it, buddy.
Listen, I will not nail all of them, so I'll take a win on number one. All right, my first one to you. So, did all of Howie's cap maneuvering finally catch up to him?
Oh man. Unfortunately, this is a very difficult one to work through because I can see where the argument comes in that the dead cap hit is finally here. And let me just read you all the void that happened this week. Okay. So Dallas Goedert, 20.5 million voided. Brandon Graham, almost $6 million voided. Ojulari, $2 million voided. Braden Mann, 1.5. John Dodson, about 1.5. Reed Blankenship, 1. Josh Uche, 600,000. Dory Jackson, 400,000. Kylan Granson, 400,000. Matt Pryor, 80,000. So they are now fourth in the NFL with 73.8 million in dead cap. Now, when we talk about AJ Brown being traded, that adds another 43 million to dead cap. So it's like $113 million in dead cap, which is why it's so hard to believe that that's even like remotely possible. And so I understand when people say, look, it finally caught up to Howie. But here's my argument. They handle it right and they take their medicine this year. I have two arguments as to why this is kind of like, no, it didn't really catch up to him. The first being, if you take your medicine this year, you're like out of it. And in like 2-3 years, you have $130 million in cap space. Like at least at this point, obviously that goes away with signings and things like that. So it might be a take your medicine year. You're kind of in like a semi like re-roster moment in time. You got to get younger on the offensive side of the ball. So it's a good time to do it. Use your draft capital to do that while you take your medicine. The other thing that can happen is the way that they work through deals with guys that are still here can eliminate some of that dead cap. So like a Dallas Goedert signing can take some of that away. Same thing with Braden Mann, who they're probably bringing back. Brandon Graham, they're probably bringing back. I don't know if Goddard's coming back. I'm just saying that if they did, it could eat some of that dead cap. I think, you do have to do like an extension or some sort of play with that. But either way, this is a scenario that Howie haters love. This is the one they've been waiting for. It's finally gotten to him. He's still going to have one of the best rosters in football next year. Like, it doesn't matter. It like at the end of the day, with all the draft capital they have and with everything that's in front of them, if they trade AJ Brown, it's a little bit of a different discussion depending on how they address that other receiver position. There are other guys who can be had, I'm sure, through trades and things like that. But if they keep them and they've got these cap hits, it's really not the end of the world. And they took their medicine and on they go. So for me, I don't think it's caught up to him yet. I think it's like sort of ridiculous. He's Howie Roseman. It's never really hurt them. At no point has it hurt them. And I really can't imagine a world where it does this year with all of the draft capital that they have. I'm not seeing it. I think there's a world where he's got to make some really difficult choices. I think there's a world where he can bring back Jalen Phillips or Dallas Goedert and Reed Blankenship. That's a hard choice, right? Like that's a really hard. They have no tight ends on this roster. 0 tight ends. Safety depth is like this much.
Yeah.
So like, but you also edge rusher wise don't have a whole lot there, and you use the mid-round pick on Jalen. So if you want to say it caught up to him in that regard, sure. I guess you could make that argument. However, I think Reed here is fine, right? I don't know if Reed everywhere is going to be fine. I think we overrate Reed a little bit here in the city because of what he does in this defense. I don't know if he looks like that other places. We haven't seen him other places, so maybe that's an unfair assessment. They could bring back a guy like Marcus Epps as safety depth, draft another safety, and move on in that safety room. Okay, they could draft 2 tight ends, sign a veteran tight end to a minimum deal. And bring Jalen Phillips back. There's a variety of things they can do. I trust Howie to be creative. No, it hasn't caught up to him. The roster's still a top 5 roster in the sport as constructed right now. And that doesn't change because of all the dead cap.
Yeah, it's hard for me to argue against this when I think the biggest thing for me is that he hasn't really been bitten by it before. So it's difficult for me not to trust him to figure it out. Even if it is a sort of half, you take your lumps this season kind of year, you have to imagine that's calculated. And it's because this and 5 other things are going to happen, next season, or he's got these ways to figure it out. I don't know. I'm not smart enough and don't know the NFL cap rules enough to like argue with the man. He's figured it out every single season we've been following this team. So I'm going to trust him to do it again until, someone tells me that, oh my God, this really bit Howie in the ass.
Preach good, brother. All right. So this is an interesting one. The offense will have 3 new weapons next season. Now let's talk through this up front just to give context. We know we'll consider Jalen Hurts a weapon. I really doubt he's gone. We know Saquon's not going anywhere. We know Tank Bigsby's not going anywhere. And I'm not counting Will Shipley, a 3rd string running back, in the equation here. And I'm not counting Grant Calcaterra or Kylan Granson. We're talking Devontae will be back. So here's where we're at. I think it's definitive that Jahan Dotson's gone. I think that there's your one. But you've got 2 others. Dallas Goedert is kind of in limbo. They don't have any tight ends on the roster. He's familiar. He wants to be here. They're familiar. The whole thing, right? So will he be back? Or will they have a brand new tight end 1? And then there's AJ Brown, who the whole world is having this conversation around. Is he going to be back? Is he not going to be back? He went on the Super Bowl tour and didn't really say a whole lot negative. He talked about loving Philly, the whole thing, but it doesn't help him to say anything other than that. It only hurts his trade value if he's out there talking smack on the team he's currently on. So, Regs, the Eagles will have 3 new weapons for the 2026 season. The floor is yours.
Because I believe in karma and universe forces. I'm going to say no because I desperately want AJ Brown back on this team. So I am going to put nothing into the universe that leads to him being gone on my account. I believe there will be 2 new ones. Like you said, Dotson, and then I think Goddard will be gone. I think they'll draft a tight end and they'll sign somebody, as you sort of just discussed. But I refuse to put any juju into the air that AJ Brown will not be on this team this coming year. Because I don't want it. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to be a part of making it happen. And I just refuse. So there's my argument.
Well, bud, this is our first disagreement because I
Damn
do
you,
believe
Azzy. Damn
that-
you. Damn you.
And it's been put into the universe by everybody else. So I'm going to go ahead and just.
I'm trying to
flick it out there a little
counteract
further.
all of it. I'm trying to do it.
So Jahan is a lock for me. I think they just want to get entirely younger on the offensive side. So I do see them drafting not 1 but 2 tight ends potentially in this draft. And then yes, I believe AJ Brown will be elsewhere in the 2026 season. I think there are plenty of landing spots out there for him, and I'm certain, almost certain, I would say I'm at like an 80% that AJ Brown will be gone next season. Now, I do believe that they'll use whatever pick or picks to go grab another receiver somewhere else, or they'll do that in stereo. I don't know, but it won't be 2 rookies coming in. It'll be a veteran to line up alongside of Devontae, and they'll go from there. I could see a Brian Thomas type is a possibility for them. I think that's like that type of receiver would be a fit. So I'm disagreeing with you. I do believe it's a possibility. Because if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it now. Can't wait till next year. If you're gonna do it, it's got to be this off season. So, sorry, bud.
Yeah, just be aware I will blame you first.
And keep taking the medicine. Like if you're gonna take the medicine, take the medicine, right? Like get up to the 113 million in dead cap, and next year you're out of it, and you start fresh, but still with a really good roster. All right, I'm ready.
All right. I can't help but smile at this one, and it's not for the best reason. Jalen Carter should be traded this year.
So this is not like an actual, like, people have talked about this on like the radio, or I actually heard it on the PHLY podcast, is like just like an idea being tossed out. Would you consider it? Would you do it? And I know that the phrasing is, should he be traded? I don't think he should be. Would I consider it? Yes. And let me explain why. You can extend Jordan Davis this year, at the best year of his career last season. Showed that he can play a ton of snaps, right? Mora Joma stepped up big time. And he's young, and you can slide him in there, draft another one. Like, you can still do all of those things. Jalen Carter's got 2 years of control left, essentially. I'm a little concerned about the breakdown this year in the shoulders and everything. He's played a lot of snaps early in his career, a lot. Vic keeps him out there a ton. And already shoulder issues for a defensive tackle. Like, but what you can get for him, I mean, you're talking probably multiple firsts for the potential. If not a first and, a couple of day 2 picks. And I think the Eagles need to be mindful right now of this draft and next year's draft, because that's the way that you kind of get out of the scenario of the dead cap that they're in, and how he's done this in the past is why he accrues all these assets. So should they? I don't know. Like, if they want to win a Super Bowl this year, no. But if you're using it as a year to just kind of reshape the roster, you can still win the division with a reshaped roster because it's still better than the other 3 rosters. So for me, if if that's not the goal this year and you're trying to like get younger, get assets, get some money off your books, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I actually don't hate it. I don't hate it. Look, he causes a lot of issues for other teams opposing offensive lines. But like, I think was it Bo on the show who said if you called the Chiefs today, Andy Reid would not even blink an eye because he loves having dudes in the middle, and lining him up with Chris Jones would be a dream for them. And I'd imagine that there'd be about 15 teams lining up behind him for the same thing. So I hate it because of the potential of who he is, of what he can do, and it could totally backfire on them. But consider all the other factors I mentioned: the health, the amount of snaps he's played, the money, and what's behind him. Maybe it's not so bad after all.
I can't do it to Vic. If we convince him to come back for one more year and then we go and trade Jalen Carter, he's gonna be furious. Like all season. He's gonna do the dumbest stuff just out of pure spite. Because what does he care? He's just gonna go sit in his box at the Phillies and watch baseball for the rest of his life. I can't do it to my man Vic, who, brought us a Super Bowl. I can't do that to him. Maybe once Vic is gone, then you could convince me, a new defense coordinator. It's time to sort of, like you said, maybe get out of this before you pay him a bunch of money. And maybe that's a year where his health still isn't good. I can't support it yet. I can't support it just yet. Not yet. I can't do it to my boy Vic.
All right. That's fine. All right, let's transition to the baseball team. We're almost there. First spring game on Saturday. It's televised. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. All right. The Phillies should still trade Alec Bohm. Now, little context. They obviously had a trade partner ready to go if, they got Bo Bichette, who, by the way, looks hilariously bad
I know.
at third base. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. But they clearly had a plan in place for Alec, right? And so, do you pull that trigger? Like, is that something that they should still do, Regs? Like, do you still trade Alec Bohm and hand the keys of the car to Sosa and Kemp until Aiden Miller's ready? What do you think?
I think this is a tough one. I'm going to say no. I think, are we frustrated that he doesn't hit more home runs? Of course. Are we frustrated at his attitude? Of course. I still think Aiden needs time. And I still think that despite the core of this team aging, you still have a chance. You have a chance. I don't think it's a big one considering who the Dodgers are and, like, God almighty, the Dodgers. But I can't do another year of like mopey Bryce Harper. And if you I just feel like if you trade Bohm and a guy who could potentially, still have 100 RBIs and put the ball in play, things like that. And I don't think Aiden is ready. And I don't want to rush Aiden. I really don't. Because I think that he's going to be a dude for a long time. But he's not a Mike Trout. He's not a Bryce Harper. He's not a Juan Soto. So I do think you need to give him the proper time. And I think it's too easy of a, like, it's Alec Bohm is in a walk year anyway. Like he's gone. He's going to be gone after this year. And I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what they could get for him. I don't know. But I think they did a good enough job bullpen wise, and everyone was like, "We'll just get him for like a middle reliever or a back of the rotation starter." I think they did a pretty good job filling their bullpen up with a bunch of guys who they can use. The back end starter still intrigues me because I think they still need one. I think they still need some depth there. So if that's a possibility, I'd be more convinced. But without knowing anything concrete of sort of what people might be offering for him, I'm gonna say no. And you let Aiden develop, and then he is your third baseman next year and moving forward.
Yeah, I trade him.
I know you do.
I like and for all the for all the reasons that you said not to, I say do it.
That's fair. Like, I can't. It's fair. It's not unreasonable.
Like, so, all right, the Bryce thing. Bryce was like outwardly bitching about the 4-hole today.
That's a fair point.
Like outwardly complaining about like, or not complaining. Well, no, kind of like basically saying like the 4-hole was a problem last year. And the guys who are hitting in that spot have to produce this year. And so, like, okay, well, I mean, what was Alex OPS there? Like 580 or something like that? Like,
yeah,
it's not great.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I that could be wrong. I'll double check that though. You know, the second part is the walk year thing. Like, could he be good in a walk year? Absolutely. Do I think he will be good in the walk year? I do. I really do believe that. But you're not re-signing him. There's no value in keeping him here. For me, the value is Aiden Miller. Like, all right, so let's say this. Let's just say they keep Alec Bohm, right? Alec Bohm's on the team. He's doing his normal 280. You know, we're fast forwarding to like July. It's hitting like 280. It's got 65 RBIs at that point. 4 home runs because he can't hit a ball out of the ballpark to save his freaking life. But Aiden Miller's down in AAA, hitting 300 with 15 home runs, 38 stolen bases. And now he's just sitting there for 3 months because we couldn't trade Alec Bohm. And so, like, I understand that there's a turn to that too, that there's the turn of, and if he doesn't succeed and he struggles down there and we trade Bohm, what's like, I get that. But I'm betting on the kid. And I'm also saying, well, if we're going all in with Justin Crawford and we're going all in with Andy Painter, then why aren't we going all in with Aiden Miller? Like, let's just do it. And I'm not saying right away, but and Mundo Sosa and Otto Kemp can hold down the fort at third base. That they brought over that other dude too. Like, those guys can play third base for the time being. And then you go from there. I don't see a point in keeping Alec Bohm this year. I don't see the point.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. So I'm on the other side of that one, buddy. I'm on the other side of that.
That's all right. I get it. Like I said, it's not an invalid argument, to be sure.
Yeah.
I try, I made my case, but I'm not. It's one of those things. This is very close. This one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You're up.
All right. So my first Phillies one for you. The starting rotation is in fact worse this year than last year.
So we kind of touched on this in our last episode. We kind of went, are the Phillies better or worse than they were? And we talked about, the Ranger Suarez loss being such a massive thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've thought a lot about it since. And I'm going to say it's worse right now with the potential to be a lot better. And I say that knowing what's there, like another year of Chris Sanchez. Like This dude is not like he's gonna get better, right? Jesus Luzardo in a walk year is more intriguing to me than Alec Boehm in a walk year. I believe that Zach Wheeler's coming back as Zach Wheeler. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe Zach Wheeler is coming back as Zach Wheeler. Aaron Nola can't be worse than what he was last year. Let's be very clear about that. I know how bad he was, and I know that he's only getting older, but I also do believe a lot of what he struggled with last year was injury based.
Yep.
And I'm digging in on this. Well, is he going to be sub 3 ERA Aaron Nola? Absolutely not. He'll never be that again. But I don't believe he's going to be 12 ERA Aaron Nola or whatever the heck he was last year. I think Taiwan's a perfect 6 starter. Like I think he's perfect in that role. And man, I'm telling you, listening to Rob talk about it, listening to JT talk about it, we're getting Andrew. We're getting Andrew.
This ain't no Andy.
I mean,
this ain't no.
No, this ain't no Andy. We're getting Andrew. And here's the thing that I keep hearing at camp is the velocity is there, but more importantly, the command is there right now. The command is there. And that was the issue in AAA last year. He had no command, no fastball command. And his fastball is so good that like when he commands it, it's kind of like Wheeler.
Yeah.
Like Wheeler commands that fastball. No one can hit it. It's why he basically throws it for 5 innings and doesn't throw anything else. And then all of a sudden he's throwing everything in his repertoire.
I mean, it's literally why he was the prospect he was, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to say about Andrew Painter is like, let's, and I need to do this too. We got to temper expectations a bit. Like he's not coming out here as like a Cy Young candidate in year one. I think a fair ask of him is somewhere between 3.75, 4.2 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's perfectly acceptable in his rookie year.
Absolutely.
He'll have some masterful outings. He's going to.
And he'll have some stinkers.
And he's going to have some stinkers. But the potential of this rotation to me is greater than the potential of last year's rotation. And I say that because of Painter. And I say that because of what I believe Aaron Nola will be versus what he was last year. And I say that because I think Luzardo's going to be the version we got post the pitch tipping stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have Zach Wheeler for hopefully a full season, close to a full season. And Chris Sanchez, man, good Lord. So they're worse right now, but I believe the potential is far better.
Yeah, I have no argument on this one.
However, they do need depth. You mentioned that earlier, and they
do
need depth.
That's absolutely true. So they do need that. But yeah, I have no argument there.
Right.
The potential is unbelievably there, and like, God, the stuff they're talking about Luzardo like gets me kind of feeling something, man. I'm tingling with how that dude is looking.
And keep in mind, all the money coming off the books next year means that could be an easy reunion in the off season for them.
Yeah.
Well, once the strike's over.
Right. Damn it.
All right. Yeah. All right. Here you go, bud. You're the last one I'm feeding to you.
All right.
Bryce Harper is right. And for the context, he's right about all of his anger and rage and frustrations over everything that Dave Dombrowski said. Bryce Harper is right, Regz. Go.
Yes, I think he is right. But I have a slight caveat. Not caveat, but I have a slight counter argument. I think he is right. I think even if you ask Dave that he answered a question candidly, I don't think he spoke anything that wasn't true, anything salacious, anything, utterly demeaning, anything like that. But I think if you ask a lot of GMs and guys that have to be in front of the media a lot, he probably would say, "Yeah, I shouldn't have. I just shouldn't have answered it that way. I just shouldn't have done it. Right? I just shouldn't have." So I agree with Bryce in the fact that it was a little weird to hear him talk that way. I also think Bryce is being a little bit of a baby. He's been in the media for a long time, literally since he was 16 years old on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Like, you haven't had people talk shit about you? Like, it's been your whole life, man. So, like, this is the thing that hurts your feelings. So I think he's being a little bit of a baby, but if it gives me Bryce Harper, like angry Bryce Harper, I'm in. I'm all in. So I think Dave deep down thinks he could have answered the question better. I think Bryce is being a bit of a baby, but deciding to use it as motivation, so I'm in. Because I need motivated Bryce. I don't need mopey Bryce and like all this, like this guy who just like looks like he's miserable all the time. I don't want it. I don't want it anymore. I want Bryce lifting people up on my baseball team. So that is my answer.
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong. I'm annoyed by him right now.
Again, as I said, he's being a big baby.
Yeah, I mean, like, can we not? Can we get over it and, just play ball? But I think he's right. I'm kind of like for instance, let me give this example. He was asked about the not elite shirt. And his response was, "Well, they made it for me, so I wore it." No,
of course
Bryce,
he wore it on purpose. Of course he did.
Like you praise our fan base for being smart.
Yeah.
And then you say stuff like that. That's annoying. That's annoying. You're gonna sit there and say all the things you're saying. Say, no, I wore it to make a point. Say what the truth is.
Yeah.
Like, say what the truth is. And I don't know, man. I love Bryce. I want him to win a championship here, but I'm also kind of like, this feels very much all about the contract.
Yeah.
It feels very much all about the contract.
I haven't gotten there yet. I think here's my take on that is I think admittedly Bryce is unhappy with how he played last year. Whether he blames it on the wrist, who was hitting behind him, the pitches that were getting thrown to him, whatever the hell else he decides he wants to blame it on, deep down we know Bryce Harper isn't happy with his performance last year. And I think sometimes, as was our opinion of Bryce before he got to, our precious Phillies, he's a bit of a diva and like a baby. Like we've probably had countless conversations when he was on the Nationals of like, look at this guy, look at this punk, right? This kid and this like guy who thinks he's all that in a bag of chips all the time. So like, it's part of his personality. Has he gotten much better? I believe so. Do I think he's matured? Sure. But this is still a part of who he is. So like, we're kind of seeing that come out right now with this petty crap. And it's not the part we like about Bryce. It's the part we hated. We literally discussed it like all the time as to why we thought this guy like sucked and was terrible. He's certainly softened on that. And I think you would agree that he's gotten better and more mature. But like, this is still in there, right? It's still in there. And it's still deep down, I'm sure, a part of being called like the LeBron James of baseball, right? Since you were 15 years old. There are flaws. Everyone has flaws. People have flaws. It's a side that's still in there for him. We don't like seeing it. We don't like admitting that it's still in there. But it is. Sometimes it comes out. And I think we can only hope at this point that it motivates him, that it's used in the right way. It's still annoying. And it's still like, we can still think it's dumb. But I think I have to hope that it's going to be used in the right way at this point in his life.
I'm with you. Channel it, and let's get MV3 back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. One more.
All right. So the Casty result was the Phillies' fault.
You like what I did there?
I did.
Okay.
Such a writer
no.
you are. Such a writer.
It's yeah, about it. No, it's not the Phillies' fault.
Yeah.
No, and I'm so tired, Regz. I am so. This is gonna be one of my rants. I'm so tired of these people on social media defending this guy. Like, two things can be true. He was an awesome dad.
Yes.
And seemed like a pretty good teammate to these younger players. Like, he hosted them. He had dinners at his house all the time for his teammates.
Yep.
Like, those things seem true.
Yep.
But when you talk about the on the field play, this dude didn't earn his $20 million.
Yeah.
He didn't earn his $20 million. He didn't come close to earning his $20 million. They brought him here to be the guy that hit behind Bryce Harper, and he couldn't do it. He could not do it. He declined defensively. Like, dude was in the bottom, like, 20th percentile of everything on the Baseball Savant page. Every single thing was blue. Every single thing. Maybe the worst defensive outfielder in the sport. Like, so much so that no team wanted to trade for him.
Yeah.
And basically got signed a league. Like, he's getting paid like $1 million by the Padres. The Phillies bent over backward for this guy. He never wanted to be here, but they found ways to try to make him happy. No other player on that team had their kids at the ballpark every day. The Phillies made sure that was possible for him. They made sure of it. And like, that's why I so much appreciated him as a dad, because he wanted his kid around, and the Phillies and his teammates in that clubhouse welcomed it. They didn't make a stink about it. But the moment this dude got pulled for defensive reasons, 1 inning of a game, he lost it. He lost it. He brought a beer out into the dugout. If he took a sip of that beer, bad stuff was about to happen for him.
Yeah.
Luckily, his teammates stepped in. And he said some things. And after that, the Phillies caved to him again. And they he did go into his platoon for a little bit, but they never took him out for defensive reasons after that again. Yeah. But he played himself into a platoon. He played himself into that. The Phillies let him play through slump after slump after slump after slump. They never, ever, ever deviated from him until the end of this year. And like, look, he gave us some great moments. He really did. He really did. But this whole like, oh, he was our best player in the postseason. No, he wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we talking about? No, he wasn't. He had I think he had 2 hits in the Dodger series. Were they big hits? Sure. Yeah, they were. They were. The big hit in game 2 and the big hit in game 4. But other than that, it was the same stuff he did all the time. And he can't play the outfield.
Yeah.
When I look back on the Nick era, I'm gonna remember the meltdown at the end more than anything else, unfortunately. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing. The Padres come to Philly the first week of June, and I will be shocked if he's still on the roster. I will be. Like, I don't foresee him having this like amazing year in San Diego. I think he went there because there's more freedom there. And I think the most telling thing about the Nick stuff was the way that Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper answered questions about Nick.
Yeah.
They had every chance to say how good of a teammate Nick was.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they were playing the company line. I don't know. But they did not take that opportunity and run with it, or even try to jog with it. They barely walked with it.
Yeah. You've never seen Kyle answer a question more strangely.
He's always very direct. Always. He's very honest with the media. He's not like to the point of Nick. Nick was like uncomfortably honest sometimes. Kyle's just very forthright, and there's truth behind everything he says. He's a leader in that clubhouse, and he was just talking in circles.
Yeah, he had no idea how to answer the question.
He couldn't find the right way to answer the question, but you could tell this. It got to these guys, man. The way that he acted in Miami got to them. It got to them. It's very clear.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I'm 1,000% with you. It's like I texted you when we were talking about this. Two things can be true. He obviously was a good teammate to the younger guys on the team. I think he clashed with the older guys, the true stars and the true veterans of the team. He felt like he should be one of them, and he never performed like one of them. That's the biggest thing. He never performed that way. But in his mind, he should be treated as such. And the Phillies, because nobody wanted Nick to be great more than the Phillies. They desperately needed a right-handed bat to hit cleanup behind Bryce Harper, who hit the ball hard with doubles and all over the place. Nobody else wanted that more than the Phillies did. So they gave him every chance, and he couldn't cope with the fact that he wasn't the player he thought he was.
Yeah, and he doesn't respect a manager who's never played. And the comments he made about his manager in San Diego were pretty damning to his relationship with Topper. But doesn't feel like anybody else has an issue with Rob.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we said that last year when everything went down.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anybody else has an issue with Rob.
Right.
And, here we are having to deal. And Kevin Long, you had an issue with Kevin Long. Well, maybe if you stop swinging at something you need a full-on oar to hit.
Kevin Long, who's also won multiple championships with teams.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Let's not believe that guy.
I often say to students, you're pointing the finger over there at that person, and it's the old saying, look at how many are pointing back at you.
Yeah.
Nick wants to point the finger at everybody in the organization.
Yep.
But isn't accountable, for his own performance.
Yep.
At no point did he say he underperformed. Remember when Whit Merrifield left and he was like, sorry, I sucked for you, Philly.
Yeah, literally put it in his Instagram post.
And recently talked about how Rob Thompson is his favorite manager ever.
Yeah.
And he was only here for a month.
Right.
And so dude, this is not a Phillies thing. This is a Nick Castellanos thing.
Yep.
Good luck in San Diego. Thank you for 4 years. Whatever.
Have fun at first base.
And please God, Adolis Garcia be good.
I know.
Anything else, Regz?
No, this is great. I missed you, buddy.
Good to be back. I missed you too. All right. Well, we'll be back next week. I promise.
It's baseball season. We're here, man. We're here.
Listen, I can't wait to watch these young kids.
I know. I can't wait.
I am yearning for the lineup drop on Saturday morning. Yearning for it. I'm yearning for it. I need to know what it's going to be now. I need to see Justin Crawford in there.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the pitchers for the first two games.
I know are just yeah.
It's like Jabron and bullpen.
Yeah, I'm not worrying about that. I'm strictly worried about the lineup. I don't care about the pitching. I
need Justin Crawford leading off.
Yes, and Aiden right behind him.
Please. I would be on board for that. I would be very on board for that. That would be totally in our brand right now. All right. So make sure you go to wherever you get your podcasts, follow, rate, do the whole thing. If you're on YouTube right now, click subscribe. Go ahead over to social media at the Mic Drop 5, at Big Regz with a Z on Twitter, at the Phixated Podcast on Instagram, at the Phixated Pod on TikTok, and the Phixated fan page on Facebook. Merchandise link in the show description below. I don't think I've ever done that as well as I just did.
That was very good. And after 2 weeks off, look at you. Vegas.
I know.
Just
Vegas, baby.
Got something out of you.
It reinvigorated the soul. All right. We'll be back at some point next week. We appreciate you listening. We love you guys. Make sure you tell someone that you care about, that you love them. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And we will see you next week. Until then, go Phils.
Go Phils, baby.
Oh, my God. Deep to right
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.